Hello, friends. Today, let me share my thoughts with you, which will bother every leader in the manufacturing sector and specifically from automotive sector. Just look at your P&L. Almost 60, 65, sometimes 70% cost is attributed to bought in or sourced material. Roughly 10 to 15% attributed to manufacturing, and out of that about maybe 6 to 8% can be attributed to the quality. Now look at this. All these years, in our growing years as a professional, we have learned so many tools, techniques, frameworks for manufacturing excellence and quality excellence. Name it: TPM, TQM, ISO, and so many others. There is a whole industry for certification, quality processes and systems. And that's just for that 15%, 18% factor which is in the P&L. When I was sourcing head, I used to wonder what can be equivalent framework for sourcing which contributes to 65, sometimes 70% in automotive industry. If for 10 to 15% we have so much, for the major contributor, 5 to 6 times higher than that, what we have? The answer was nothing. The answer was nothing then when I started my professional career in sourcing and procurement. The answer is no, even now, that no such framework exists. So, for the business leader, for the chief purchase officers, how they measure the excellence of the team which handles so much? The actions of these teams so much impact to P&L. How they know that this is an excellence, how they know that this is the right way to do, how they know which are the weak areas. And like like a conductor, orchestra conductor, the sourcing head has to manage so many things. Particularly in today's world, it is getting much more complex. Supply chains are getting riskier, geopolitical risk like never before. The technological disruptions are happening literally faster than your product development and strategy cycles. Sourcing of today is not what it was yesterday, but still, we have no compass or no framework which will tell you you are on the right track. You are doing best. You are doing as it should be. That need was there. There is a gap. So, in the business excellence, this is a huge gap and the biggest one. When I started working, practicing with the help of my team members and my seniors, I was able to crack on something. I practiced many of them. And today I'm going to share with you the Total Sourcing Management Framework, TSM. Yeah, it is similar to TQM. We are all familiar with these words. It is comprehensive framework to excel the sourcing function. It looks like this. Just to give you the glimpse of what it looks like, this is how it looks. It has got the foundation, and like any sourcing, the foundation is coming with a core values. Core values are like fairness and trust, professionalism and respect. Because if you don't be fair and suppliers don't trust you, nothing else is going to happen. And it will affect your performance. Then comes core competencies. Then comes the important pillars. Important pillars are strategy management. This comes as a sourcing strategy as well as category strategy. Then supply chain management. Managing the supply chain tier 1, tier 2s, supplier basket for the future, supplier basket for the future, and overall life cycle of supplier. The next comes performance management. How do you manage the performance of sourcing, business performance with the help of supply chain? The next pillar is spend management. Any sourcing person will know that spend management is a crucial part of his or her responsibility. How do you manage this spend? And each of these pillar mindwell will have sub points under them, which I will be shortly discussing with you in one of my next video. Right now, let us grasp the enormity and the uniqueness and also the effectiveness of total sourcing management framework. With the core values and core competency and the strong main pillars, risk management, people management, spend management, performance management, supply chain management, strategy management. These are the strong pillar on which the roof sits. The roof contains value creation, not cost saving. How do you create value? A right feature or technology where customer is willing to pay more than what it is going to cost you is also a value creation. And that I call as active sourcing, unlike the passive sourcing of the past. Being such a major contributor to P&L, the business performance is affected positively or negatively by sourcing performance. And last but not the least, the sustainable growth. The value is created to sustainability, and sourcing professionals control the supply chain so that sustainability of supply chain is a huge contributor to the society and to the business. Incidentally, the business valuations are always higher when you are having a great ESG performance. All this is directed towards what? It is directed towards serving the customers and the stakeholders. Not only shareholders, stakeholders. The factories where you are, the society in which you live, and every person who uses are affected by your products. So this is the total sourcing management framework which I've created after my 40 years of experience and deep thinking and some innovative practices which I practiced during my stint. It is my pleasure to share this with you. Let's look at few of them. Core values. I'm going to discuss these foundation pillars and the roof in next video. But let me just give you the concept. Core values, we spoke about fairness and trust. There is one more important factor for sourcing people, which is very unique to sourcing people, which is managing the principal-agent conflict, being aware about it. We are all agents. On behalf of principal, we take the decisions of spend. On your behalf, suppliers invest, they recruit people, they invest into factories and toolings. So are we acting in the interest of principal? All the time we have to be mindful about it. There will be temptations to act as an agent with our own agenda, with our own interest, with our own egos, and sometimes with our own objectives. So core values will engulf all of it. Fairness, trust, and integrity, where this kind of a conflicts one has to be mindful about. As the products technology getting complex, the competencies of sourcing are very different now. Negotiation is not the only skill, which is table stake. Knowing about product, knowing about technology, knowing about product technology, manufacturing technology, software technology, because you are no more inside out person for the organization, where organization asks you to get something and you get it. You are an outside in person, a window for the organization to the outside world. We scan the outside world. The kind of developments which are happening in supplier industry are enormous. Every time, not possible for every person in the organization to know everything. That is important that we become that window for the organization to the outside world. Scan the market, get the technologies inside, whatever is useful, whatever can add value, and that becomes from a passive sourcing to the active sourcing role. Those are the different set of skills which are required in the future. The pillars, 6 pillars which we spoke about, we will speak about in details, but just to give the glimpse: supplier management, strategy management, risk management, people management, stakeholder management comes in it, and performance management of the suppliers. If you take one piece out of it, the whole house collapses. That is how integrated it is. And the role of CPO is like an orchestra leader. He will manage every instrument, he will manage every player to make sure that not an individual player excels, but the whole music is sounding nice to the stakeholders and the customers. That is the beauty and that is the power of total sourcing management framework. It was needed, it was much needed gap in the organizational or business excellence circuit. If we all take it upon ourselves, if at all we follow this missing piece will take your organizations and your career ahead by miles. I have no doubt. If you have any questions and comments, please write down. I will try to address in my next video. Let's see again each other for the next video where I'm going to speak in depth about all these pillars and what they contain. Also, we are going to talk about a framework and the assessment questionnaire whereby you will be able to assess at what level you are today or your sourcing function is today. We have created 7 levels, and then you can check your maturity and target yourself at what level you would like to be. So the tool doesn't only give you assessment, it will give you how to reach to the next and the next level. See you next.